All righty, folks, welcome to yet another edition of our business plan workshops. I got Frank here with me. Don't get scared, all right? You don't lose your head like Frank does, but it is the time of year that he normally comes out. It gets a little more scary next week when we talk about financial and legal planning, but we're still going to talk about some more fun stuff. We were talking about the strategy last week. We'll talk about more fun stuff here this week with marketing planning. This is where you still get to dream big, but you're starting to refine some of your ideas as we go here. Please give a warm welcome to our project director, Angela Kivas.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. Nice to see everyone.
She's the one that makes everything happen here. So appreciate all her hard work. And so I'll bring Angela back in towards the end to talk about some more of the details that you need to know for getting ready for the business plan competition, some important dates that you need to keep in mind. And I encourage you, as you're working on these worksheets and these workshops, that you continue to work on your business plan as you go here. Each one of the business workshops that we're going through are designed to help you work on in piecemeal your overall business plan. So many of the things that you're seeing in the business plan, you should be working on here in the workshop that you can then carry over into your overall plan. So we'll talk more about that towards the end here. But let me dive right into this. And we can get into our marketing planning here and get back to the beginning. And so we're going to focus here on how to get business, how you're going, even if you have a nonprofit, you have to think about who it is you're trying to appeal to and how you're going to make money from this, how you're going to create value, so much value that people would say, I want to be a part of that, and here's some money to help you make that happen, whether somebody is part of a cause that they're supporting or whether they're getting a product or service as part of that exchange. So you should have already, Angela sent this out to you, the one-page marketing plan that we're going to work through. And it's just one page where you can jot down some notes. And then you also have more of a worksheet with more fill in the blank that's a little bit longer that you can use as well. Whenever you're stuck on your marketing or even your business and what you want to offer to whom, you want to always come back to this question: who? Who is your ideal target market? And don't tell me that, well, everyone could use my service or product. That ain't true. All right. Not everybody wants it. Not everybody needs it. In fact, I mentioned this last time, we're doing just fine right now without your product or service. We're getting along okay. So who is your ideal target market that you would want to go to that would get the most value from what you're trying to offer? And we'll work through this so that you can help refine your target market, because it's not everybody. Not everyone has all the money in the world to spend to support or to buy your product or your cause. So this is a big mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make. You usually see this with on Shark Tank, where the folks are going before the sharks and they are talking about what they have created. And the first question the sharks will usually ask is, who could use it? Who wants it? Who's buying it? And what the entrepreneurs are hoping is that the sharks are going to spend a lot of money to help them figure this out. I'm assuming we don't have tons and tons of money, millions of dollars to figure this out. So let's start here with the question who, and create a product or service for your ideal target market. And this is a big mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make, is skipping past this idea of who. And we have a lot of great ideas that have happened over the years. that have failed. Here's one, Cosmopolitan Magazine. A lot of people know it for the advice it has, especially targeted towards women. They found themselves writing about healthy diet, healthy choices. So I said, why don't we get into the yogurt business? We're always writing about yogurt. And I see Angela looking like, what? They're offering yogurt? Yeah, they thought this was a good idea to start offering yogurt. Hey, you trust them for the advice you get in the magazine. Why not trust them for your yogurt? This is actually a real drink that was out for a while called cocaine. They deliberately marketed it with this name to get a lot of attention, which they did from the FDA. It does not have any cocaine or any illicit drugs in it, but people were so appalled that they complained about it, and they did actually pretty good. They had about 1.5 million sales in the first 3 months of operation, largely because of the controversial name. And the controversy even fueled more sales until it eventually was pulled from the shelves. You can still get it in a few places, but good idea. At least somebody thought, then eventually failed. This is a classic one, Coke. So for some of us who are old enough in the audience here, we would remember that Coke actually changed its formula. What happened is Pepsi was going around into city after city doing these Pepsi taste test challenges. And they were put 2 small glasses out behind a cardboard box, and they asked people to try one, not knowing which one you were tasting, whether it was Pepsi or Coke. City after city, Pepsi won. Coke had #1 sales and #1 market share. And if we were to do this among us, we were all together and we did the same Pepsi taste test challenge, Pepsi would likely win. I've done it in classes after classes. Every time Pepsi wins. Coke saw this happening, and there's always commercials that were showing the Pepsi taste test challenge, Pepsi winning every time. Coke was starting to see sales dropping, starting to see market share dropping. And they're like, oh crap, Pepsi's winning. So Coke said, well, maybe it's a test. So they did their own internal taste test challenge. Guess who won? Coke employees did the taste test challenge. Guess who won?
Pepsi.
You got it. Pepsi won. All right, another 500 points for Shandell. Nice job. Yeah, Pepsi won. And Coke was like, oh boy, all right, this test is not rigged, it's for real. So what they did is they started playing around with the formula. And they came out with a new formula. They tested it first, and they found that the new formula was beating Pepsi. They're like, we got it. We got a new formula. It's going to beat Pepsi, and we're going to take back market share, increase sales. New Coke came out. Everyone hated it. It was probably the biggest product disaster in history. And feel free for you young folks not familiar with this, don't believe me, check it out. It's still considered one of the biggest product disasters in history. And they had to, was that Pete?
No, just I remember back then people were hoarding old Coke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They were freaking out about
it. Yeah, and they were holding on to it like, this is crazy. People were really upset about taking away the Coke because you couldn't buy the original formula anymore. They just took it off the shelves and said, no, we're replacing it entirely with new Coke. And they had to reverse course and do away with the new Coke formula and bring back Coke. And you'll still see it sometimes described as Coca-Cola Classic. That's what that is. they had to bring back the old Coke. What was the problem? They did all the taste tests, they did all the testing that's required, they went through the steps in the marketing process that they should have. The problem is that if you're drinking a glass of Pepsi, that's different from drinking a small little glass of Pepsi. Because Pepsi wins every time because it's higher in sugar. It's sweeter. So you're going to prefer a small little bit of Pepsi versus Coke. They were testing the wrong thing. It isn't what do you prefer in a small glass, it's what do you prefer in a bottle. My father, growing up, he would always pour a half a glass of Pepsi. He couldn't drink a whole glass. It's too much, too sweet. And that's true for a lot of people. So the question wasn't what do you prefer in a small glass, it's what do you prefer in a bottle, Coke or Pepsi? People preferred a bottle of Coke over Pepsi because it wasn't as sweet. So lots of great ideas that have occurred over the years that have failed because folks were testing the wrong thing. And they weren't looking at what customers wanted. Customers wanted a glass of Coke, not a small little sample of Coke. And we got lots of history, whether it be Cosmopolitan getting yogurt, cocaine, drink, New Coke, Google Glass, another great idea that Google had. Let's have glasses where people can watch videos, they can look at their text messaging from their glasses. Problem was that people were creeped out by it. They're like, well, what are they looking at? Are they looking at a video? Are they talking to me? I mean, even this guy in this picture, he looks kind of creepy. Who's he looking at? It looks like he's looking right through you, not looking at you. He's looking at his glasses. Or Amazon, when it came out with the Fire, the tablet, or and phone. Like, well, why would people want it? It came out, poor timing. It came out at the same time that Samsung iPhone was coming out, iPad was coming out, and everybody's like, well, what's the difference? There isn't much. Okay, well, moving on. That failed. Or how about Cheez-Its lip balm? Really? We need Cheez-Its as a lip balm now? So lots of great ideas, but not based on what customers want or need, but based on what somebody thought was a good idea at the time. So we went over this a little bit last week, and I want you to come back to this. You really need to define who is your ideal target market. And again, get very, very specific here. You want to go to fewer people, not more. And oftentimes what we'll do is, my background is marketing, just very briefly. So I've run a bunch of companies over the years. I've launched over 100 different products and services and businesses, made clients over $150 million, and kind of like an accidental professor. So my wife was never a big fan of me running my own business. She's concerned about the health benefits, the retirement benefits, all valid concerns. So I had to kind of make a deal and say, okay, I'll get a full-time gig, but I want to continue to work on my consulting business, helping folks launch new products, new businesses. So I became a professor, absolutely love it, and love working with folks, because what we're finding is that a lot of students and alumni are looking to launch businesses. And we really don't teach that at the college. We teach how to do accounting, how to do HR. We teach those functions, but we really don't teach how to take an idea for something and turn it into a business, to launch it. Over the course of my career, I've done a lot of that. And there's a process that we go through. And what I'm walking you through here is that process that I use with clients all the time, and has been proven successful. And yes, I'm taking bits and pieces from all the scholarly research that I have access to, as well as some of the best practices, the classics from over the years and put them together into this process that you're seeing here. And the idea here is not to try to appeal to everyone. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the idea is try to narrow that focus as much as possible so that when somebody sees that, they say, wow, that sounds like it was designed just for what I need. And that's where you want to get to, is somebody to say, this is perfect, this is ideally suited for me, I want it. And of course, you need to have enough people to be able to sustain that. But you want to get specific here. When you're talking about income, don't say upper income, middle income. What does that mean? Somebody who is middle income earning $70,000 a year is very different from somebody else who's middle income earning $210,000 a year. They have very different wants and needs. Where do they live? Are they in suburban? Are they city? Where exactly are they living? What zip code? What streets are they living on? Age. Avoid baby boomers. Avoid generations. Get more specific. Again, a 22-year-old has very different wants and needs than a 32-year-old, even though they may be part of the same generation. Where are they with their marital status? Gender. This is a big one. Aspirations. Where do they want to get to? A lot of products and services are marketed to help people achieve something, get to where they want to be. So how is your product, service, or your business going to help people achieve some type of aspiration that they might have, or somebody in their family, somebody they may know, or their business? How does it help them achieve their goals? What kind of organizational affiliations do they have? This is key, because if you can understand their organizational affiliations, you may be able to target then the other like-minded people. Charmaine, Charmaine, am I pronouncing that right? Correct me.
Hi, I'm Jamarni.
Jamarni, thank you.
Yes. So my business is in styling and wardrobe consultation. And even when I mentioned to a few people that I'm around, that I'm entering this contest and things like that, like they really believe in me just because, like I'm kind of like a walking advertisement for myself, for the business. So but I already have people like my niece is one person. She's 24. She just graduated college. She's going into her first engineering job. So she wants me to style her and pick out a few things for her to get her ready to go into the workforce. Also, I have a coworker who is recently divorced. She won't tell my exact age, but it's like late 50s, early 60s. So she's looking for a new look. So she's like, oh, I want you to put a few things together for me and, go shopping with her. And also even a male coworker who he's a behavior analyst and he normally comes to work in like sweats and t-shirts and tennis. So he's looking for a look that can transition from work to social. So I do have I said all that to say, I do have a broad market. So it's like male and female, and it's a wide age range. So what should I do about that?
Find who's going to pay you the most amount of money and for who's going to value your services the most, and that you enjoy working with, that fits in nicely with your skill set. I'm a guy, so I can tell you from a guy's perspective, I go to Men's Wearhouse once every 5 years to get a couple things and I'm good. I'm done. Women, we know women pretty well. Okay, they're constantly going back. So it's what you want to do is look at, there may be a lot of people, and this may be true for a lot of folks here. You may have a lot of different types of market segments who could use your product or service. But the idea here is, where can you focus at? Where can you start and start earning revenue and perhaps even recurring revenue where people would keep coming back and spending money with you? And it's easy. It's not hard. You're not having to convince people. frankly, for a lot of guys, you're gonna have to convince them. For a lot of younger people in college, they may not have the disposable income to be able to spend on these things. Here's the key. You want to be able to say yes to your target market and have the confidence to say no to everybody else. And be able to say, that's not really something we specialize in. I can help you a little bit, but let me recommend somebody else who can. Because you don't have all the time, you don't have all the resources in the world to spend chasing after some target markets that may not find as much value in your service as others. All right, it's a great point, Jamani. Glad you brought it up. Yeah, there's a lot of people who could probably use our stuff, but we need to focus on who's going to value it the most, and it's going to be relatively easy or less difficult for you to do that, and you're not going to spend a lot of money trying to convince people and market to people to convince them that they should go with you. Pete, comment, question?
No, I just want to bring up, I'm pulled over now, in case you're wondering. But Dennis, I don't know if I ever put this in any of my bios to you, but I used to be a dating coach.
Okay.
Which was fun. So one of the interesting things about it from a business perspective is that you can spend a lot of time marketing and a lot of time selling to get someone to cough up, in some cases, a couple $1,000 for a couple months of coaching. But if you're successful, then they say thank you and they leave.
Yeah.
Because you fixed their problem. And
right.
It's inherent in that business. You have to, one thing you need to think about is, am I going to have repeat business, or do I have a model that automatically says the best thing I can do for the customer, he will never see me again? And
yeah, and
all the marketing again.
Yeah, so Pete used to be a dating coach, and they would use him once. He was successful with it. Okay, they get married. Now, Pete, if you were forward thinking, you could also have been a divorce coach. So not just a dating coach, and you can cover the whole spectrum.
Well, I could have tried to do some terrible matches so that I could guarantee that I get business on both ends. Good point.
There you go. So, all right. So the point is here that you want to really narrow down specifically, and keep in mind, okay, who is the ideal target market? Germaine was talking to us about all the folks who could use her product or service. What I'm encouraging you to do is say, okay, what's the ideal one? What's the best one for us to go after here? We're not going to have to spend a ton of money. It's going to be relatively easy. We don't have to convince people that they need our service. And we enjoy doing it. We enjoy working with those people. What's their role in the decision-making process? This is especially important for B2B. So in B2B, you'll often find that it's not one person who's making a decision. It's a lot of different people who need to be involved. So what you have to do then is give people the information that they need to disseminate to the other decision makers, because the person who's ultimately making the decision, you may never talk to, you may never see. So keep that in mind. And it may be true in some families too, you know, especially if you have a product for children. The children ain't buying the product, it's the parents. But you need to appeal to both the children and the parents, often in very different ways. Where are they getting their information? In other words, where can you put your product and service in front of people where they're already going for information? And break it down, even on social media. The people on LinkedIn are very different than those on TikTok. People on Instagram are different from the folks on Facebook. Often those who are going to Instagram are millennials. They said, my mom and dad, my grandparents, they're on Facebook. I'm out of there. I'm going to Instagram. All right. So where are they going for information? Where are they, so that you can put your product and service in front of them where they're at? Dominique, question, comment?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So with the social media piece that you were just talking about, so I'm B2B and I'm trying to figure out the most effective marketing strategy, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I haven't yet, but I will be starting soon, LinkedIn outreach. But I had a like a one-on-one call with kind of like a marketing mentor, I guess,
Yep.
temporary marketing mentor last week. And she was saying, she was basically saying you can market to your target audience on LinkedIn, but also think that after their 9 to 5, these people, you know, probably have an Instagram, like, and they maybe go on. And so she was basically suggesting to me to filter my business through my personal page and kind of just show a bit of my life. And she was again saying, like, people when they're scrolling on in the evening, they might want to get to know you a little bit better, but on the LinkedIn page, you're showing more of the business side. I just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So LinkedIn is doing a pretty good job self-policing itself. And you'll see some people will put some stuff on there about politics, and people will just say, this ain't the place. Go to Facebook for that stuff. It really is more a professional network, and people are doing a pretty good job with that. Whereas, you know, some of these other platforms, you can kind of let your hair down, you can show more of your personality. Absolutely. The challenge for many of us is that we can't be on all those platforms. We can't, if you're not going to engage in social media, and it's not just posting stuff, it's commenting it, and not just liking something or putting a little smiley face on something. It's actually engaging with people. If you're not going to do that on a platform, don't get on there. It's worse to just have a presence but no followers, because then people are going to look at it and say, oh wow, they only have 10 followers. They must not be in business. They must not really be doing anything. It's actually a deterrent to show to have very little activity on a platform. It's better to look at, well, where is my ideal target market? Where are they going? So I need to be there too. And then focus on just one or two. Don't try to be all things to all people.
Okay, that's so helpful. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, Dennis, you do have some questions in the chat.
Okay.
Want to take them now? You want to wait?
Folks, if you don't mind, let me hold off on answering the questions, because I may get to them here in just a moment.
Okay.
So, all right. So drill down to the specifics here. Again, how do people spend their weekends? What do they do to relax? What you want to do is create that avatar, that profile of your ideal customer, trying to answer some of these questions as you go through it. Here's an example of something just beyond demographics, but what we're talking about here are psychographics. What is it that people care about? What is it they're interested in? And this is the difference between a PC user and a Mac user. So PC users are going to be on the left column, Mac users will be on the right. And so, for example, PC users more likely to be between the ages of 35 and 49, compared to Mac people. They're going to be younger, and 58% of them were more liberal. Mac users more likely to say that they want to be perceived as unique and different to make my own mark. That is Apple's brand right there. That they have designed everything around making them unique, different, to create something for people who want to be different, who want to stand out, who want to be perceived as unique. And that's the emotional connection that Apple has built from day one, with probably the most famous ad ever presented in Super Bowl in 1984, where they said 1984 is not going to be like the 1984 book about the dystopian future that you may have read. So, and now Samsung is taking the same page from that playbook. We talked about that last week. Here's some more examples here. 43% of Mac users consider themselves early adopters. So Apple doesn't need to say, hey, we got this new phone out with all these new features, we're discounting it. No, all Apple needs to do is say, we got a new phone coming out. Get in line. And people will, because people want to be a part of that early adoption and be perceived as unique, different, to be able to show everybody, hey, I got something new that nobody else has. Very different from the Mac users. Where are people getting their information? Well, for the PC users, go to History Channel, USA. Notice that the Mac users, Bravo, Showtime. So where are they running their ads? Best Buy even created entire stores for different market segments. They created the Jill store. This is for the soccer moms. Don't like going into the stores because they usually have kids with them. Hate shopping for tech. So they're looking for colors that are softer. So even the walls, the paintings in the Best Buy, it's gonna be softer colors. The ads are gonna have softer colors. They're gonna have a kids tech department, and they have usually another woman working there, walking up to mom saying, how can we help you today? She's like, oh, thank God. I need this, this, and this. Show me where it's at. Whereas the Buzz store is created specifically for young technophiles, the kids who want to go in there and try out the games. They got the lounge chairs set up, the lazy boys, so that they can play games. It's noisy in there. They don't have anybody walking up to them because they're gonna say, I'm just shopping. I'll look around. I'll find it myself. Thank you. Two very different stores for Best Buy for very different market segments. It worked. Sales grew 3.2%, but look at this, gross profit up 24.5%. Now, anybody in retail knows that anything like a sales going up 3.2% is huge. They're usually measuring it in 0.1% or 0.2, but for it to go up 3.2% is enormous in the retail business. So who is your ideal target market? Again, there's probably a lot of people who could use their service, but who is ideal? Who is going to probably value it the most? And it's going to be easiest for you to do business with them. And you want to describe them and be specific here. So take a moment here, pull out that worksheet, jot down your ideas here while they're still fresh. And I'll answer some questions here as we go. What if you are targeting a broad market like Jeff Bezos did with Amazon? Keep in mind, I talked about this last week. Jeff Bezos, when he started, he was not trying to appeal to everyone. Yes, his business was all about serving everyone or delivering every product from A to Z, but it was not initially started to appeal to everyone. It was designed to appeal to those who want to buy books. That's it. And he concentrated just on that for many years before expanding. Excuse me. Now, he did begin with the end in mind, but he started small. And that's what you want to do here. So even with like Jermaine's example, and I appreciate you bringing that up, Jermaine. Yes, women who are millennials, college graduates, may be able to use their service. Women in their 50s may be able to use their service. Men may be able to use their service. But where is it that she can start and get the most business and then gradually expand? All right. So great question, Jacqueline. Colleen, my business doesn't necessarily care about any item on this list. My business cares only about the industry for them to progress and keep management. But so for me, I only target this specific industry. That's fine. But who in that industry are you targeting? There's some decision makers. And what I'm encouraging you to do is try to describe them so you can get in front of those people within that specific industry. So
in my specific case, though, it's the food industry. So any person for whom wants to move upward within the food industry, and it doesn't matter if they're a dishwasher, working their way up to be a chef, or a server working their way up to be front front end management, I would actually target any one of them.
Well, where can you start? Who can you start with that's going to value it the most, where you can begin to gain traction and then expand beyond there? So who is your ideal target market that you want to begin with?
See, that's where I think I'm getting stuck, because I'm not sure who to reach out to. I was thinking about reaching out directly, starting off with restaurants, because I mean, I can go to supermarkets because they cater. Anybody who does catering, I can work with. Anybody who works with food whatsoever, I can reach out to. I was thinking if I started with restaurants and ownership of the restaurant, that they would reach out to their employees and suggest that they move forward in elevating themselves.
Okay, so the only way to know is to start having these conversations and reaching out to people and testing it, trying it, seeing what resonates with people, seeing how much convincing you have to do. It's usually a good telling point. If you have to do a lot of convincing, then it may not be your best target market. All right. I'm looking to license my patented product to a company. Still, you want to find out exactly what it is, how this is going to help that person within that company. How are they going to benefit? And we're going to get into that a little bit more, but who is it specifically that you're trying to target? And then you need to sell them on, well, when they buy this product, then it's going to benefit all those customers that it's trying to serve. What if you want to partner or target organizations like municipalities, advocacy group, educational? Again, who are the decision makers in each one of those? And how is it that your service probably is going to benefit them? What is it that they're going to need in order to make those decisions? We'll get into all of that, but you really want to start with who are the decision makers and what's the process that you're going to need to go through in order to, number one, reach them, just get in front of them, and then the process internally that they're going to need to get the decision approved. My company targets government and businesses. Okay, well, there's a lot of government agencies. There's a lot of businesses. So which ones? Which ones are you really focused on, and who within those organizations?
Can I interject?
Yeah.
Can I say that's me? I'm Lionel.
Yep.
My company is more technology, so it's a cybersecurity company.
Okay.
So when you say try to reach out to, who's my specific target? It would be the more like a CISO or more like an end user. It's kind of bounce around.
Which is it? Which is it? Is it Cisco or is it the end users? That's two different markets.
I said CISO.
Cisco is not an end.
Not Cisco, the company, a CISO, and in other words, a chief information security officer.
Okay.
Meaning the head, like because I would have to target them and the end user.
Okay, hang with me on this, Lionel. So, so it's the chief information security officer, CISO. At what size company? Is it under 2 million? Is it 5 million to 10 million? Is it 50 million and above? How many employees do they have? Is that what's important here? Who is it is going to be able to use your service or even be able to afford your service within those types of companies? So for folks who are looking at companies to B2B, you really need to look at what is the size of the company that you want to target. And for example, for the chief information service officer, is it based on how many employees they have? Like if it's just them, are they going to need you to help them? Or if they have a staff of 10, are they not going to need your service?
Yes, see, that's the key. Any company, our target would be anybody with computers that access their data from a different location, be it the cloud, be it even if it's on-prem, if it's using computers.
But Lionel, what you want to do is really focus on, well, what size company should I target here? Who
hear
can,
you.
who can value, who's gonna value my service the most? Um,
I hear you.
and so, for example, when I first started my consulting business, I thought I was gonna be a consultant to other publishers. What I quickly found out is that they have staff of people who do marketing, and they saw me as a threat. So the marketers never wanted me to be hired on because they felt that their job was in jeopardy, that they were losing the confidence of their boss if they were bringing me in. So what I had to do then was focus my services on companies who didn't have a marketing department that I was competing with. And that may be a challenge that you have if you're offering cybersecurity to companies that already have a staff that's supposed to be doing that already.
So
So
you said don't target them?
you're gonna have to find out for yourself. What
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying is that oftentimes if you're trying to provide a service that they have already hired people to do, they're gonna see you as a threat and they will never hire you. Even though they may
Thank
be
you.
making all the mistakes in the world and that you can do it better, they've hired people to do that job function already. So what is it that you're going to be able to provide that's different that they're not already doing?
Thank you for that.
Yep. So, but we start with who is the target market here? My business dealing with bathroom products, usually moms, but I'm not sure. Yes. So my wife has more bathroom cleaning supplies than we know what to do with. And guys, we're just like, whatever is easiest, fastest to use, we're using that. She'll go to the grocery store, buy all this stuff, and we still won't have any food. But we have tons of cleaning supplies. Sorry to that. When you say market, do you only mean investors and people can pay, or include people who would generate and sustain the business? Is the profit the main factor in sustainability, or should you consider momentum, builders, and subscribers? Yes. Short answer is yes. So if you have investors, you need to appeal to them as well. But investors aren't going to invest with you unless you have customers. So you're going to need to start with customers to start generating proof of concept. Then once you have that, investors be like, okay, that's cool. You got some traction there. You're gaining some business. They're definitely going to be concerned about profitability, because profitability is what's going to keep you in business. So it ain't just about momentum or sustainability. It's about, are you going to be able to grow? Are you going to be able to take some of that money that you're generating, put it back into the business to grow? If you're able to do that, investors be like, yeah, I'm on board, because then I'm going to give you money and you're going to be able to pay me back. Be careful with investors. So we're going to get into this a little bit more next week, but lenders, they're going to want 5%, 8%, 10% as part of interest that they're on the loan that they're giving you. Angel investors, they want 30%. So not only do you need to be making a good profit, but you're going to need to pay back 30% of all your earnings to your investors. So keep that in mind. Yes, it's about profitability for sure. All right.
I think what I was trying to say was when I said investors, I meant people who would financially contribute to the business. And when I said, and I wanted to know, do you want to include, what should you include in the market if you have a broad base who will make up, you know, your subscribers and the people that'll build the momentum and the actual business itself? You need a broad range of people, like a sampling. If you need that for the business, and then you need a market that includes lots of different contributors too, like the financial contributors, are they your market?
So financial contributors, be more specific. Are you talking about lenders? Are you talking about angel investors? Who are you talking about?
Angels and
angel investors want 30%. So unless you're going to be able to produce a profit that's generating 30% on top of everything else you're making, they're not going to be interested. And no, they don't want to see all these different people who could use it. If you have something that's specific to a market and that is targeted, that's going to be easy for you to be able to reach and is profitable, that's what's most important. It's not how many different types of people you're able to serve. All right. Hopefully that helps as you're going through here. But again, what you always want to come back to is who. And it's better to be more specific than it is to try to appeal to a large group of people, a diverse group of people. That's going to be a real challenge. You don't have all this money to spend. So keep it focused, start generating revenue, generating traction and proof of concept so that you can then expand that business as you go. All right. So next, and we start creeping into this, you want to ask the question, what? Once you have established who is your ideal target market, then you can better understand what it is that they need. And the way to establish that is to focus on the pain, the problem, right? Every product, every service is designed to solve some type of problem that somebody has. I have a pair of scissors here. What's the problem that I have?
Are they right-handed scissors?
Yes, they are.
Are you left-handed?
Nope. So I got right-handed scissors. I got a specific type of scissors. I got right-handed scissors made for right-handed people, not left-handed people. If I try cutting with my left hand, it ain't doing anything. What's the problem? Why would I need a pair of scissors?
What are you cutting?
Yeah, I'm gonna need cut something.
To cut something.
Right. All right. And so, you know, and this pair of scissors was not designed for everyone. Is this for children? No.
Not if you like them.
Pardon?
Not if you like your kids.
Right, exactly. You could play with scissors, kids. No, this is for adults. Is it not really an art scissors, more of a professional type of scissors that you could have? Not a kitchen scissors. Notice we have different types of scissors. Kitchen scissors versus scissors for paper. We have scissors for cutting flowers, scissors for cutting paper. There's the 3 different markets right there. One for gardening, one for a kitchen, one for office, another one for children. All we're talking about is a pair of scissors. Every product, every service is designed to solve some type of problem. So once you identify with your ideal target market, you can start answering this question. Well, what's the problem or the pain that they're experiencing? Colleen, who's your ideal target market?
Just about anybody in the food industry.
It ain't anybody in the food industry. Tell me more about your service that you're talking about here. Something to do with catering.
Food safety management education.
All righty, there we go. All right. So now what are you going to provide? You can provide consulting service?
No, it's education towards certification in food safety management. So truthfully,
I understand. Got it. So it's not everybody is going, you're not trying to sell to everybody. You're trying to sell to the person who is liable. When the inspector comes and sees that there's problems, then that company's going to have to pay some fines. They're going to have to, and their life is going to be miserable until they correct those problems. They could get shut down. So the person that you're trying to really target here isn't anybody within the food industry. It's the people whose jobs are on the line if they do not pass that safety inspection. So it's going to be the restaurant manager, the owner, or the two key people. That's your ideal target market. What's keeping them up at night? What's their pain point? It's going to be, we could get shut down tomorrow. Did my staff close everything out tonight well enough that if we were to have a surprise safety inspection tomorrow, we're not getting shut down before lunch? All right. Yes, the dishwasher should be concerned about it. The dishwasher isn't paying for this. The dishwasher says, this ain't my job. If it gets shut down, I can move on to another job. Their job is not on the line if that safety inspection doesn't go well. For the manager, it absolutely is. So what's keeping them up at night? What's waking them up at 2 o'clock in the morning that they're sweating about that there may be a problem? Oh, I got this manager who I know wants to get out early and wants to just move on and do as little as possible. And if we have an inspection tomorrow, I'm really concerned. I'm worried about what could happen. All right. So that's why I'm really asking you to focus on who is most liable here in your case, and what is keeping them up at night. And then what's the solution that you can offer? And then this is the key. How do they benefit from that? So the food safety, the manager, let's just focus on restaurants, okay, for right now. What solution can you offer?
Well, I offer a class on how to, well, I offer a class on all the points to keep your kitchen and the front of your house safe for not only your employees, but for your patrons.
Yep, good, perfect. So now part of their challenge, so we got a restaurant manager. Everybody got a restaurant manager in your mind here. Part of the challenge is that restaurant manager may care, may say, you know, we want to have, make sure everything is above board, make sure everything is it's healthy for people to eat, make sure everything's clean, make sure we're doing everything processed, that the refrigeration temperature is kept at a certain point or within a range throughout the day, and really paying attention to that. Is the staff paying attention to that? No. So part of the challenge for that restaurant manager, his pain point, her pain point, is I need to get my employees on board with this. I care about this. I'm concerned about this. My job is on the line if we don't pass. I need to make sure now my employees care as much as I do, or at least they have the education and what to look for. So the solutions you can offer then is, Mr. Manager, Miss Manager, we have a training program. We know you care about this, but we now have a training program for your employees to get them on board. Because I know you're talking about it all the time to your blue in the face. We have a training program that is designed to help you. What's the benefit? You can sleep easier at night, and you can rest assured that when the restaurant closes up in the evening, that safety inspector can show up in the morning and you know that you'll pass that inspection. All right. So notice we talked about the pain, the problem, the solution that we're offering, and now the benefit, and we're circling it all back now. How does this help you in your ideal target market? Rashad, then Ethan. Go ahead, Rashad.
I was just going to say, like, that sound more like a affiliate marketing or trying to sell a program.
Yeah, so she has a service. She has a service that she's offering. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a service, so it's like, I mean, the best way to approach that will either be through a sort of affiliate marketing or trying to pitch her program.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so, but who do you
Well,
pitch
well,
it to?
here's the thing is that it's not just pitching a program. To be elevated within the industry as a manager, you actually have to take this class and be certified. Like, I'm literally certified in food safety management, and then I had to pass my certification exam at such a high level that it allowed me to teach. But then I had to get certified in that. So it is a program that isn't just an affiliate, it's a necessity for some.
Okay, so Colleen, that is a different problem and a different pain point. So first one that we talked about was safety inspectors showing up and for a surprise inspection. Second one was I got employees who may not care about this as much as I do. That's another pain point. Third pain point, compliance. In order for me to advance in my career, I need to get certified. Each one of those pain points has a different solution. We have a surprise inspection program designed for you. You're interested in certification? We have a training program to get you to the next level. Here are the courses that we offer. Different problems, different solutions, different benefits. For the same ideal target market. All we're talking about is restaurant managers, and we describe 3 different problems they'd have, 3 different programs that you can offer, 3 different benefits. Ethan? Ethan?
Yeah. So I'm looking at pain, and I'm trying to identify what the pain for my the marketing group, the people I'm marketing to would have. So my business is fine art photography prints. So surrounding I'm thinking of people that currently what I have is people that are adventurous and travelers. So the 25 to 35 age range, somewhere around there. But I can't really nail down what the pain would be. I'm kind of grappling with that. Do you have any input on that?
So are we talking about photography that they would want? Okay.
Yeah. So artwork. Yeah.
Yep. So why would people want art? Well, it's not necessarily a pain. It could be a problem. Problem is my house is empty. My house is boring. My walls are boring. Quick example. I woke up one day and I realized that all I had were khakis and polo shirts. I'm like, I got to do something. This is boring. So I got Stitch Fix, where I hired Stitch Fix to send me a box of stuff every 3 months. And I would get this stuff that they would send. I'm like, I ain't wearing that. And I thought, well, I got it because I needed to mix things up. So I ended up buying it. And then I would have it and I'd wear it. And everybody would say, oh, it's really nice. I like that. Like, holy cow, it works. So the problem could be that why do we have art? We get into some philosophical, existential questions. Why do we have art? It makes us feel good. The only reason we buy something is it saves us money, saves us time, or makes us look good. Why do we post stuff on Facebook? It makes us look fun, makes us look exciting, makes us look entertaining. All right. So why are we buying art? We want to impress people. We want to show people, our style, what we're about. The problem is that we may not have anything to be able to showcase our interests and that reflects us in a way that we want others to perceive us. That's the problem. So how can your art, your visual arts, photography, help people solve that problem?
Got it. That's very clear. Thank you.
All right, good. All right. So it may not be exactly keeping the, nobody's waking up in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock in the morning and saying, oh, my walls are bare and I need new art. It may be more of a desire. It may be more of a existential type of challenge that they have of, you know, what I have just doesn't reflect who I am, or how I want others to perceive me. So what solutions can you offer? And then that could be, as in Colleen's case, the training program, the certification program, different trainings for different problems. And then the benefits. Well, the benefits can be, now you can be able to show people how you want them to perceive you. Or that now they'll be able to get the certification they need. That inspector can show up at the restaurant unannounced and you feel comfortable going through that inspection. So these are 3 questions that I always come back to with clients, and it really challenges you to really look at, from the perspective of your ideal target market, what it is that they're going through. You may not be able to solve all their problems. That's fine. And that's where you say, we don't have a program for that, but I can recommend somebody who does. Or we don't offer that type of artwork, but I can recommend somebody who does. Still helping them solve their needs, but it's not going to be you. When they have a need that fits what you offer, they'll come back to you. We do business with people we like. We like people we trust. So how are you going to get people to trust you? Ruth, question? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes, you are. Hi.
Hi.
So, okay, so my business idea is like a social emotional learning tool for teachers that they can easily access and appropriate into their lesson planning. Because I'm a teacher and this is a problem that teachers have. We encounter so many different backgrounds and so many different identities in the classroom. This is specifically for like public schools that are super diverse, and
Yep.
Our world is becoming more and more like this. And I'm constantly looking for like Pinterest ideas and Instagram posts, and there's all these fabulous teachers who've started like businesses where they, you know, and then there's teachers pay teachers, and I'm thinking that it could be an app that.
Okay. Before you go too far, Ruth, before you go too far, who is your ideal target market?
Teachers.
What grade level?
Probably I would start with like secondary, because I'm familiar with that curriculum.
Okay. So community college, university?
I mean, yeah, it'd be great if it went that way, but I'm thinking like that age where we're starting to discover that they haven't caught up to the literacy level that they need to be at. So like studies show that 3rd grade is where the kids who aren't readers like veer off and they stop reading and they're not engaged emotionally. Plus our curriculum doesn't service everybody. Our curriculum is very white and very like exclusive. So
specifically what grade level are you talking about then?
I would say middle school.
Okay.
Like I feel like when they enter 6th grade, they either have to go into a special reading literacy program because they haven't caught up, or they get to go further. Okay.
And so you're talking about middle school teachers and probably specifically in public education, public schools, correct? Okay, good. What's the problem?
The problem is that the curriculum is very cookie cutter, and it's hard to.
What's the problem that the teachers are experiencing with the kids?
The teachers have a hard time getting their kids to buy in to learning.
Okay.
So giving them something at the beginning of a lesson that gets the kids like, I get this relates to my life.
Okay.
I need this information. So that's
Okay.
missing. That's like an aspect that's missing in the curriculum because the curriculum is not very diverse. It
Okay.
doesn't cater to a diverse, there's no LGBTQ awareness. There's no, different races. Like we have to teachers have to look for this stuff on their own.
Yep.
So I
Got
thought if there was an app that they
So,
have on their
hold on,
phones. Yep.
Rude, I'm asking you to shy away from the service that you're going to offer at this point. So what's
Okay.
the solution that you can offer?
Okay.
So we identified the problem that having middle school teachers who are trying to help non-white students better understand the material and get engaged, get excited about learning. So what's
or to buy in like this
so what's the solution? What's the solution that you can offer?
Okay. The solution that my company would offer is quick and easy ways to find materials that solve that problem. You can incorporate it to the beginning of your lesson.
Okay, so, and then the benefit is that now you're going to have students who are engaged, who are better learners as a result.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And you're thinking that an app would do that, right?
I'm just thinking of the teacher's busy lesson planning schedule, and they don't need another website where they have to log in and create their classroom. And this is why I raised my hand, because an app is so personal and it's something that's on your phone. And I think I'm going to run into issues because, well, it has to be state standard, like aligned.
But why not just offer a website where you can start small and offer this service and make it available to people?
Because those websites exist, and like I've done my research. Like I'm looking for those websites to use, and
Okay.
they're just not so functional. They're not. I mean, I'm open to that idea, but I would have to be able to create this website completely from scratch, because the websites that are out there are hard to navigate.
Okay. All right.
I'm looking for a way for them to type in grade level, content area, the standard that they're teaching that day, and then like the emotional aspect that they want children to, buy in. Like
Okay.
4 components, filters down, and it gives them like 10 options to choose from, and then they use that one that day.
Yep. And you can do that with it. You can do that within a website.
Yeah.
So you can have
I
a
think
search
the
function within the website. When you get into creating an apps, you're getting into coding, and you're gonna have to build something separate. A lot of times folks will start
Okay.
with a website first and then create the app out of that.
Okay.
Your challenge in all of this is how are you going to make money from this?
Right. And this is where I wanted to ask you, because first of all, schools spend billions of dollars. I mean, I work for the ELA department, so I know like they spend billions of dollars incorporating a certain specific curriculum. It's very, it's very protected. You can't copy it. There's nothing we can do to change it. We're very married to it. Once we buy it, we're married to it. And we are stuck with it for like 10 years before we buy a new one. And the people who are developing curriculum, that board of people, like it's very hard to crack that code. So I feel like there's this wall in front of teachers of like bringing in content that's more relatable for the students.
Yep.
So what I would like to do with this business is create something that's not taking away from the curriculum. It's not fighting against it. It doesn't need the permission of the school even. So it would literally just be teachers like paying 99 cents for a warm up, or that kind of thing. Like I would do that every day for a whole month. I would pick them out and I would pay 99 cents a day to make my lesson go better. It would be worth it for me.
Okay. So perhaps start there and start creating those materials for other teachers that you think would be helpful. And and this is true for most people. What you want to do is start with your circle of influence. Who is it that you're already working with where you can start testing these ideas and start creating the content, Ruth, and getting it out to those that you're already working with in your network and have them start to use it. And then think about, okay, well, what's the best way to deliver that content? Because whether you're talking about a website or an app, all you're talking about is deliverability.
Yeah.
But first, get the content created.
Yeah.
Get people using it. Then see, well, what's best to get that in front of people later. What's most important is having the content that people are excited about and see value in, and they start paying for it. All right. Then you start getting the testimonials. You start getting case studies of how people are using it. Then the deliverability just becomes, oh, well, that's where you go to get it. But what people are going to care about most is, does it work? Not, is it an app or is it a website? Is it just paper materials I'm getting? That doesn't matter. What matters most is, does it work? And is it helpful for me?
Can I ask you one more question?
One more.
What do you think about making it like a Tinder for teachers, like, for lack of a better term, like teachers can put their own thing in there and then we can all scroll, and so the content would be like, so it'd be a community, like everyone's creating, uploading, we're using each other's stuff, and that would take the pressure off of me of making all that.
Yeah, and here's what I would do. I would start with your stuff, and then if people are contributing to it, great. That becomes a whole different model, because now it's more of an open source, and you're probably going to need grant funding in order to support that, and not people buying it. So I would start first with you creating that, and having people use it. And then if you get other people who are as excited about it and willing to contribute, then you're vetting that. Then now you can still, the proof of concept is the same. I have people who are using this, it's working, here are the benefits, whether that's content coming from you or from other people, doesn't really matter. Then you can go to either a grant funder or you're selling the service to others who are buying it. But the most important thing is the content.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I'm sorry, can I say something? I've been trying to find to raise the hand. I just want to add on to what she was saying. I'm looking for it. I was looking. I actually wanted to add on to what she was saying. I actually have like a prototype app right now that I'm working on just for the service in which I'm creating. But as he said, no one is using the app. So what I started to do was to go door to door, because my target audience is homeowners. I go door to door and telling people that I can provide a service. So from doing that, I get that feedback that I need, and as well, that community support, in which is my new shareholders. So definitely, I believe that you're on the right path, and I definitely want to talk to you, and I want to learn more about it, because I think that's phenomenal. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. And this is true for a lot of folks. Don't get hung up on, do I have an app? Do I have a website? It's more important about the value that you're creating for your market, for your ideal target market. If they see the value in it, then it really doesn't matter, how they're getting that deliverability. The deliverability is more about ease, convenience. That's what. But you have to have something that you're offering first that people would say, yeah, this is worth it. It's worth, again, what people are buying is, this is going to save me time, save me money, or it's going to make me look good. All right. So when we're talking about this deliverability stuff, sometimes it's saying, okay, well, I'll be able to save you time so you don't have to do all this searching. Or it's going to be cheaper. Or at the end of the day, you're going to look a whole lot better because your students are learning and more engaged in the classroom. All right, so what I have here are, again, the pain, and I just walked through it with Ruth here, with Colleen. I think we really have some really good examples now. We walk through it with the ideal target market. What is the problem, the solution that you're considering, and then the benefit back to that ideal target market. All right, take a moment, jot down some ideas, and I'll take some additional questions here as we go. First time I heard somebody say, don't stress the website or technology. Yeah, you got to start with the content, all right, with the value that you're able to deliver. The technology is just a mode, a channel that we're using. And it's really going to depend on what's best for your ideal target market. All right, that's what you need to consider here. And that's why I keep coming back to the who. Who is your ideal target market? All right, what steps do you need to get an LLC? We're going to go through that next week. But you can also go to the Maryland State Government website and they walk you through it step by step. So just search on Maryland State LLC application and they'll walk you through it step by step, but I'm going to walk you through it next week. Let's see, going through here. And I love how people are chiming in, offering advice for others here. That's great. So obviously marketing costs money. What I'm trying to figure out is how much money do I throw into my marketing business, into marketing my business before knowing for sure that I will be able to get it funded. My business is a service and requires a physical location, so it's fairly expensive to get started. I hear you. So what you want to do, Samantha, start small here. And what you can do is you can use Google, Facebook ads, and just set a budget, $50 a day, $50 a week, and see how things are resonating, what kind of responses you're getting. And start small. And you're never going to know until you start testing. And you can, and the nice thing about testing online through Google or social media is that you get results fast within hours. So, and the best thing to do is start with your ideal target market, start talking to them. How are they getting a similar service now? Where did they go for that information? So you know where to get in front of them, the talking points that you need to use. So what you want to do is go back to the who question, who is that ideal target market, and start trying it, testing it. You don't have to spend a lot of money in order to test these ideas. And it could be no money at all. Let's see. If you have to get testimonials with statistics showing the benefits, you're showing your proof of concept with your content. Absolutely. But you have to have something out there for people to say, yeah, this is worth it, how they're using it. But you have to start with that content or that product first. Then get those testimonials to show proof of concept. So once you identify a target, you're saying get a website to keep them. So the website isn't going to keep anybody. We got a lot of websites that we can choose from. It's not going to do anything to really keep people. Really think of your website as your home base, your headquarters, where you're storing a lot of your content. And then think of your app, your Facebook, LinkedIn, all the social media. It's kind of like tentacles reaching out and you're always drawing people back to your website. You know, when we go searching on things, when we're looking on Facebook, LinkedIn, we're getting pieces of what you're doing, but that website should be your home base where you're driving people back there in order to get them engaged and learn more about your product, your service, about you. All right, moving on here. Lots of good questions. I love it. So next, we're getting into, well, we started with the who, got into the what. Now we're getting to where. Where are you going to grab the attention of your ideal target market, your prospects here? So where do they live? Where do they go for information now? Are they going to radio? Are they going to streaming services? Kids today, you know, they're going to Hulu. They're going to all the streaming services out there. You need to get in front of them. Instagram, TikTok is now offering better advertising options because that's where everybody's going. That's where the eyeballs are. So where are your ideal target market prospects? Where are their eyeballs going? That's where you want to be. All right. So, and how are you going to get in front of them? How are you going to grab their attention? The key here, you got to put yourself in their shoes. Back to Colleen's example here with the restaurant manager who is worried about a surprise inspection by the health department. Right? That's a real concern. So you can go out to restaurant managers with an ad showing, you know, just sweating it, you know, worried. Just imagine you're a restaurant manager, you're out to dinner with your wife, enjoying a night off, finally, from the restaurant. You get to enjoy other people's food for the first time and not have to, and just relax with your wife. But you can't relax because you got a manager who you know doesn't care about the health and safety of the restaurant like you do. And you know that the health inspectors are cracking down on restaurants in your area, but you're not enjoying that dinner at all. You're sweating it and you're panicking. You're worried. Should I go to the restaurant and, you know, do my own surprise inspection after dinner? My wife is going to kill me because it's supposed to be our night out, but I'm worried about the what's happening at the restaurant. I could lose my job over this. You know, the restaurant down the street got shut down for a week because they had to resolve all their safety issues. That is putting yourself in the shoes of your ideal target market. And you can have an ad campaign designed just around that, showing those images, showing that concern, that pain that they're experiencing. And you can come in and say, you don't have to worry. We can take that all off your shoulders. You don't have to worry about it. We'll handle the training for you so that you can now enjoy dinner with your wife on your date night and not have to worry about if you're going to lose your job because you just enjoyed one night out with your wife that you haven't done for a year. Where are you most likely going to reach that person? Where are they going for information? What radio stations do they listen to? You really want to understand your ideal target market. How are you going to understand them? Well, you may have a good understanding already because you may work in that area. Ruth, with her working with other teachers, most teachers, they're listening to NPR. All right, National Public Radio for the kids out there. All right, that's where they're going for information. That's where you want to advertise. Where are they located geographically? Perhaps for some of your ideal customers, what you can do is target certain neighborhoods, city locations, or county. If you're marketing to a business, where's your prospect on that organizational chart? So are they a decision maker, are they CFO, or are they a lower level person who needs to get the approval of management. And what kind of information can you give them to get the management's ultimate approval? What's the best form of communication to reach them? Kids today aren't reading email. So how are you, unless it's from somebody they know, somebody they trust, they're going to be more interested in text messaging. They don't even use their phone for to call anybody. So you're not going to be able to call them. So you really need to understand your target market and the best forms of communication to reach them that will get your message across.
Hey, Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine just posted on Facebook, and she's about late 20s, former faculty at CSPC actually, said something to the effect of, if you ever want to try to get a hold of me, don't leave a phone message because I ignore them. So yeah. I guess it's a millennial thing. Voicemails are just like uncool. Yeah. It needs to be text or some other thing, but people won't listen to voicemails anymore.
I love the new Geico commercial where, we're trying to get you to be not like your parents, where they say, what's the problem with leaving that message? Oh, the person didn't leave their phone number. The phone number's on the screen. Oh, they didn't repeat the phone number for them. No. We don't even leave voicemail messages anymore. We text somebody. We hang up and we text them. Or we don't even leave a message knowing that they got a message saying that you tried to call them. So you got to think about all those things, and the channels that you're using to reach your people. Where are they getting information already about this? So in Ruth's case, with where she wants to reach her other middle school teachers is going to be conferences, seminars on this topic about learning, about engaging students across a diverse student body. That's where she wants, and she's going to want to do presentations on the topic. Ruth, I'm giving you your marketing plan here, by the way. You want to get out and do presentations.
I appreciate that.
You want to do YouTube videos showing how you do this and how it's working. You want to bring in other teachers who have used it to talk about how much better their life is now that they're using Ruth's content in the classroom. Before, my life was so much more difficult. I was having problems getting people engaged. Students weren't learning. I was frustrated. I was miserable going home at night. I was, first thing I did when I walked through the door is I had a glass of wine because I had to relax from the day because I was so stressed out and I was thinking about quitting my job. Really, that's the pain that you want to describe. It's not I'm frustrated. It's this is what my life was like. Ruth came along, gave me my new lesson, and all of a sudden, it was like I could see light bulbs going off over each one of my students' heads. My life is so much better. When I go home now, I think about how lucky I am to be in the job I am and to have the impact that I do with my students. And I have a better relationship with my family, with my kids, because I'm not coming home and the first thing I'm grabbing is a glass of wine anymore. Ruth, you got all that?
I've been writing.
I recorded it too, so you have it. Now here's the thing. Good old-fashioned mail works for a lot of your stuff. And Colleen, you know where your restaurant managers are, and you know where they're getting their mail at the restaurant. And here's the beauty of all this. And even for folks who have more of their prospects working from home, guess what? You know where they are, and you can target specific people. And you can say, I want this person to get this on this street because that's my ideal target market, but I don't want this person to get it. And usually 99% of the people are going to throw it away. And you know what? That's just fine. Because all you usually need is a 1% response rate. And that's going to cover your cost and actually be profitable. And when you're thinking about direct mail, don't think about just a letter that you're writing. Here's one that we did for a client where we put a message in a bottle and we sent them a bottle. It wasn't an empty bottle from the teacher we just described, but it was a bottle that we wrapped up and we put a letter inside of it. You think you would open that? That got about a 12% response rate. Or how about a bank bag? Put a bank bag in the mail with a little slogan on there. Here's the offer you can put right into the bank with a letter inside. You think you would open that? That one made $500,000 for a client. Or this is one that we like to send. It's actually a small trash can that's 3 inches by 5 inches high. And we put a letter inside of it, all crumpled up inside the trash can. And the letter would say, we sent you several letters already. You probably threw them away. We went ahead and did it for you this time. But here's why you shouldn't throw this away. And then we walked them through the benefits, the solutions, and the pain that they're experiencing.
I don't think they make a fortune cookie big enough for mine.
And a fortune cookie is another one we've done. And that works. So yeah, you can make a big old fortune cookie. Put a letter in there or a note, right? So where are you going to grab the attention of your prospects? Now that we've just defined who is our ideal target market, the problems that they're experiencing, and now we can say, okay, where can we grab their attention, knowing the story that we need to tell that's going to get in front of them. And it's going to grab their attention to make them want to learn more. Notice I didn't say bye. All we're trying to do is get people to take a next step.
Yes, I actually think she built value in herself. It's just like no one know how valuable she is until she showcases it. So like,
yeah, and it comes back to an expression we often hear: "You're the best kept secret." Guess what? That's the worst thing you want to be. All right, best kept secret is not good. That means you're doing some really cool stuff that nobody knows about and you aren't making any money. That's not a good place to be. So yeah, Rashad, I agree with you. Creating good stuff, got lots of good content, but now it's about how to get that out in front of people, how to reach them to make them want to engage with you. All right, so let me put down some ideas here. And I'll continue answering some questions. All right. Nothing wrong with grabbing a glass of wine if that is the product you're selling, but you don't want to drink your profits. Yes, all in moderation, right? The question is the answer. We're getting deep now. If your business is heavily website reliant, but you don't have a great deal of IT experience, where can you get help to start building your online infrastructure after creating attractive content? All right, great question. So how to build a website, how to get information you might need. So a good service to use for website is Wix.com, Wixx.com. I just put that into the chat. It's really, you don't need to know any coding. It's plug and play. And you can start out using the free version, no cost at all. Thanks, Angela. Oh, I sent it to Angela, not to everyone. Thank you, Angela. So Wix.com is free. And what you would do is you wouldn't have a URL yet. It would be, let's say, DennisSullivan.wix.com. That would be the URL. It wouldn't be searched in Google. So you can play around with it and build it as you go. And you don't need to know any coding. And then
Hey,
once
Dennis.
you get, sorry, Pete, once you get your URL going, then you can replace that with the temporary version. Yeah, Pete.
Yeah, I just looked at the chat. Is it 1X or 2 in Wix?
I'm sorry, it's 1X.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you already have a URL, you can use, thanks, Angela. If you already have a URL, you can just use that URL and build it out with Wix.com, Wix.com, not 2 X's. Wix is an easy one to use. There's others as well. GoDaddy is another. There's others out there. Register.com is another. We found that Wix is also very good to use with social media. It has a lot of plugins that you can use and makes it very easy to use. Pete?
Yeah, no, one thing I wanted to mention, something we talked about on the aviation faculty, it never actually pulled the thread on it, but it could be a resource that's out there as long as you're ethical about it. Is like, if I need a website built, I would probably walk down the hall and talk to some of the cyber guys and say, are there any sophomores at CCBC that are looking for a project? They get a grade, I get the chop, early chop of a website, and I get a recommendation.
Yeah.
We talked about doing that for some of our stuff. We never did, but I'm wondering if that's also a resource. You don't want to exploit the young kid for free, but it could be a good deal.
Well, that's part of it. And, and look, there are also college students who are trying to get a degree, and they may not work as quickly as you would like. It may be a good place to get started for sure. But for many of you who are looking at a business that you're starting to run here, it may be better for you to go ahead and start yourself using something like Wix.com. Or if you want to hire somebody, Udemy, Edson put that out. We also use Upstart. It used to be called freelancer.com. And Upstart is really good because you're working with freelancers from around the world that you can hire at usually affordable rates. And then Lionel is offering his services as well. Upwork.com. Thank you, Angela. So
isn't it Upwork, not Upstart?
yeah, Upwork. Upstart is the lending company. Sorry.
Okay.
Upwork is the freelance. Good questions.
Do you happen to know about the other one? I think it's WordPress.
WordPress or WordPress?
WordPress. Sorry, WordPress.
Yeah.
I didn't hear if you put that one out there.
I purposely did not.
You got to get a little.
Yeah, you got to know some coding for WordPress. Web designers, coders love it, but it's a little more difficult to use. But you can get away with doing some basic stuff, but you'll get frustrated pretty quickly using WordPress if you're not a coder. HubSpot offers a CMS. That's a customer management system. It is not for building websites. So HubSpot, what it does is it coordinates all your different marketing activities. We have some clients that use it. So if you're doing Facebook advertising, you're doing Google ads, you're doing email, it's all in one place where all that information is captured. And so you have all your clients, your prospects in that database, and you can see how they're coming in, whether it's coming from Facebook, LinkedIn, Google ads, email advertising, landing pages. You have all that linked up together. Vicky was saying she was happy with Upwork. Yeah, we use Upwork quite a bit. It just depends on who you're hiring for that service. All right. So Dominique's correcting me. There is a website component to it, and she offers a link here so you can check it out. I'm not sure, how easily that is to work with, and I'm sure Dominique could probably provide some more information about that. But I have not used it for website development. I use it for all the other things with the marketing components, and highly recommend HubSpot for all the CMS work. All right, moving on here. So we got into the who. Again, whenever you get stuck, go back to the who. So like I did with Root. Root was getting stuck on, should I do a website? Should I do an app? But we had to go back to who is our ideal target market, then talking about what the problem, solution, benefits to offer, and then we could talk about, okay, here's the content, and then building that out first before we even get into deliverability. So next is big question that you need to ask. Why? Why is somebody going to do business with you and not somebody else? Remember, we talked about this last week. People don't buy what you want, what you do. They buy why you do it. Right? And this is important because there are lots of other products, lots of other services out there. Even Root, when she was talking about all the other programs that are out there that are designed for engaging students. They may be disparate, they may be all over the place, some may be better than others. And with her expertise, she can come in and say, here's the best of the best that we found. That's going to save people money, save people time, and at the end of the day, make them look good. So why is somebody going to do business with you so that you can say, we're not like the rest, and here's why. Oftentimes for a business, when they're getting started, it is why you got into this business in the first place. Okay. The example with Rue. Rue was talking about how frustrated she was with her own experience. So she created this herself. That's a great why. Why somebody would do business? Well, I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like. I know how frustrating it could be. I know what it's like, staying up late at night, trying to find all these different content that's going to engage your students and really worrying about what your lesson is going to be like the next day. But I found these resources that'll help you. Here's how it's helped others. Your why oftentimes is why you got into this business, why you are pursuing this, when you could be doing a lot of other things and working for somebody else and having an easier time, basically, than trying to do this on your own. So what you want to come back to, what's the one thing that makes you stand out from everyone else? And this is not designed to say, oh, okay, I'll buy that. No, it's designed to say, for people to respond either, no thanks, great, move on, don't waste your time, or that's interesting, I want to learn more. So what's one sentence that you can say that makes you stand out from everyone else? Here's some examples. Zappos, largest online shoe company. We've been asked by a lot of people how we've grown so quickly, and the answer is actually really simple. We've aligned the entire organization around one mission: to provide the best customer service possible. Internally, we call this the WOW philosophy. Remember last week I was talking about their strategic plan, all about great customer service, delivering WOW. That's their number one value. Everything is built around that, delivering happiness. Tom's Shoes, you can buy shoes from anywhere, but with Tom's, every pair you purchase, Tom's will give a pair of new shoes to a child in need. So their website is all about how they're giving shoes away based on the purchases that people have made previously. Honest Tea. Do we need another tea company? Do we need another drink out there? Go to Wawa, Royal Farms, there's about 1,000 to choose from. Do we really need another tea? Well, Honest Tea creates delicious, truly healthy organic beverages. We strive to grow with the same honesty we use to craft our products, with sustainability and great taste for all. Nature got it right, we put it in a bottle. That's what makes them different than everyone else. Why will someone want to do business with you and not somebody else? Go ahead and jot down some ideas there while it's still fresh. Question here from Edson. Do you have any suggestions for product research for drop shipping products? Well, it depends on the product, right? So what's the product and what's the markets you want to drop ship it into? Edson, you want to elaborate at all on that? All right, take a minute here, jot down, why will someone want to do business with you? What's your why? We have a lot of choices to do business. In fact, we're getting along pretty good without your product service right now. So why are we going to use your product, your service, and not somebody else? Edson's trying to figure out how to figure out sales on any hot product. Well, I would encourage you to narrow that down. Is it children's products? Is it adult products? Is it for a particular market? So it sounds like you're stuck on, I want to get into drop shipping business. How do I do that? There's drop shipping everywhere. So what is unique about what you're going to be able to do that others aren't doing already? Hopefully I'm saying that correctly, Simi. They want to do business with me because I'm reliable. I don't only sell products, but lifestyle. I make people feel beautiful and worthwhile wearing my product. I think that's a good start, but I think we could probably, I think just about any cosmetic company would say the same thing. So maybe a little. I'm sorry?
No, I think I get what you're saying.
I didn't get that. Repeat that.
I get what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah. So you may want to talk about your own story. You know, that you're looking for products that you that didn't suit your lifestyle or the look that you were looking for, and why you created that in the first place. Or maybe it's making it available to people, other products, making those available to people who didn't have access to it previously.
Okay.
All right, moving on here. All right, so we got into our why. Now we're getting into how. How are people going to do business with you? What are the steps that they're going to take to ultimately get to want to buy? So how are you, so we want to talk about how are customers going to interact with you? And then how are you going to make that happen? So what's the first step? And the next step, and the next step after that? Going back to Ruth's example. So everybody knows, familiar with teachers, talking about middle school teachers. So she's going to go to a conference where they're talking about learning initiatives, how to engage with students, and she's going to now present to other teachers about the content that she's using, maybe even bring along another teacher who's using their curriculum. So it's not just her bragging about her own material, but now another customer is bragging about her material. So she's now going to have to appeal to the organizers of a conference as to why she should be presenting. So she's going to now have to have a marketing message to those conference organizers to even be considered for a presentation. Then she's going to have to develop a presentation. Then once the people are there, she's going to have to now have a next step for people to take. It's not going to be, here, take my business card, call me if you think you may be able to use something, because nobody's going to call. So one thing that we highly recommend that people do when they're presenting at a conference is to pass around a sign-up sheet or have a QR code where people can download something. You know, here are my 7 steps to engage students and in the classroom. So, and it's now Ruth's guidance on how to use her content to better engage students. Or it could be a free trial that she's offering. Sign up today, I'll give you 3 lesson plans for free to get people to try it, taste it, see if it works. And then there's follow-up material after that for them people to purchase for a monthly subscription or a year-long subscription and what they get for that. But notice all the different steps there it took in order to get somebody to buy. And so like Gillette Fusion, they offer a free trial. When my boys were turning 16, 17, 18 years old, on their birthdays, they got a free razor and 1 razor blade. Where does Gillette make all its money? On the replacement blades. So when they gave away the free Gillette Fusion razor, 60% of the people who tried it ended up buying razors and the razor blades after that. And then you get the refill packs, and then you get the whole system. Notice that the price goes up as you buy those products. HelloFresh, they're not asking you to buy right away. Get 14 free meals and free shipping. When you try it, see if you like it. And then when you sign up, you got some type of discount offer, cancel anytime. Great way to get people to try it. But a lot of the stuff that we're seeing in the advertising is asking you to make a yes, no decision right then and there. Buy today. Save $10, 1 day only. 20% off Sunday. It's a yes, no decision that's being asked. The problem is that all the people who are like, I'm not really sure, you're missing all those people. And I want you to consider the rule of 45. The rule of 45 says that 45% of all people who are considering buying will buy. The question is, from whom? 10 to 15% are going to buy within the first 3 months, 26% within 6 months, and 45% within 12 months. Now, this is an average. It's going to vary depending on the product. But the point is that whether that's 3 months, 12 months, 3 weeks, is that what are you doing to stay in front of those folks while they're considering whether to buy or not? Because most people aren't going to make a buying decision right then and there when you're asking. They may not be ready. So the question is, they're going to buy, but are they going to buy from you or from someone else? So what you want to do is try asking for a maybe. Take a test drive. Taste it. Try it. Maybe offer a 30-day free trial or a 10-day trial. Netflix never took off until it offered a 1-month free trial because people weren't sure how this thing worked, this streaming service. Is it any good? Are the programs any good? Is it difficult to use the technology? Until people tried it with the 1-month free trial, sales were not very good. Then they took off when they offered the 1-month free trial once people got accustomed to it. This is one where we put out a book. Now the client has over tens of thousands of leads from the book that we published and well over $1 million business. But we use this to get in front of people to be able to talk about his strategy when organizing businesses. These are other books that we put out. Oftentimes videos, they're nice, but people don't see the value in them. They're not opting in to see a video. They will opt in to get a book because they still see a value in that. And then you can develop that relationship and engage with a prospect with your next step and your next step. Everything is about building relationships. And I want to give you an example that we do at CCBC Center for Business Innovation. So Angela and I work very hard on generating leads. You may think that, oh, we're giving away $62,500 every year. It's easy for people to then sign up for stuff. Not really. It's a little bit of a challenge, believe it or not. So what we offer are free seminars for people to attend on topics that we think they may be interested. This is on video strategies for entrepreneurs. We were thinking maybe we need to refine our message to just focus on certain niches. This one was for minority-owned startups. We did another one for women-owned businesses. We did another for veteran-owned businesses. And throughout all of this, we're generating leads for then when we offer things like our business plan competition or other services, we have a list that we can market to. And we can, throughout the entire time though, we have to offer something that people still value, that they'd be interested enough to say, yeah, I want to attend that. And not just through email or through flyers, but on Eventbrite, different channels where people are getting information. This one is actually next month on November 17th. LinkedIn as a business tool, how to use LinkedIn to build your presence, network, and build your brand. Feel free to sign up for that one. And we'll send you some more information about it too. But then we're generating these leads. Now we have a conference coming up June 12th, 2023. We just put this out today. Notice we're not asking people to buy. We're asking people simply to reserve their seats for this conference on June 12th for our Be More Bold Business Conference. Not asking people to buy. There's no commitment, no obligation, cancel or make changes anytime. All we're asking you to do is reserve your seats. And then when it's ready, we'll put it up on LinkedIn like we did last year and get people to then start buying. And all driving traffic to our website. But notice that throughout the year, we're not even asking people to buy. You can't even buy tickets for the conference coming up in June. It's reserve your seats. We'll get payment later. We're trying to make it easy for all the people to say, maybe, not really sure. So I'm encouraging you to get away from this yes, no decision making that you're asking customers to make, but more maybe. And you need to think about, well, what are the steps then that people need to go through to get there? So what would your funnel look like? And you want to start out broad so that you're not asking people to buy, but instead try it. Take a test drive, taste it, sample it, do a trial. And then what's the next step that you want them to make? And the next step after that. And then what do you need to make that happen in order to generate those leads to then to your ideal target market? So then they're getting to the point where they purchase. So we're going to think now about the resources that you need. We already started talking about websites, developing those. So what is it that you need to accomplish and when to bring this to market? Just like last time, I want you to think about in terms of the short term, midterm, long term, however you define that, it's up to you. But start with the end in mind and then work backwards. And then what is it that you need to make that happen? And concentrate on what you do best. And if you need to outsource that, then you're going to have to do that. So you can leverage your skills that are best for growing your business. And then build a calendar for yourself. When is this going to happen? Break it down into steps so that it's more manageable as you go through it. All right, so let me just look at the questions here. I'll take a maybe over a no. Absolutely. Dominique, need to sign up for that one? Yes, please do. You can check us out on LinkedIn. I encourage everybody to follow us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, so you're getting all these notifications too. All right.
Hey, Dennis.
Yeah, Pete, before we take any questions or comments, I want to bring Angela in here to bring us up to speed on next steps, dates to keep in mind, and then I'll take questions. Angela?
Hi, everyone. I'm going to give a little clap for Professor Sullivan, another great workshop with a lot of information. So we're down to one more to go. Next Tuesday, the 25th is our big one, all about the numbers, the financial/legal planning workshop, probably one of the most difficult parts of putting together a business plan. And the other key date is, I mentioned this before, but mark it on your calendar, November 13th. That is where that 5 to 7 page business plan is due if you're interested in competing in the competition. So what's going to happen after next Tuesday's workshop, after we get through the final one, that week I will send a link for everyone to start if you're interested, putting up that 5 to 7 page, submitting that 5 to 7 page business plan. I also have in front of me, Professor Sullivan talked about the workshop. I don't know if you can see it, but we have a flyer for that LinkedIn. We're very lucky to have an expert on LinkedIn to talk about using LinkedIn as a business tool. I will attach that to the email I'm going to send out with the recording, with the playback of this workshop. So I will send out the flyer with how to register for that Think and Grow seminar as well. So those are the key dates right now. And that workshop is November 17th. So I will get this all in the email with the playback to everyone. In the meantime, you guys know if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me or email me. And yeah, another great workshop with a lot of information. Those 2 hours go really quickly. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Angela, I just have a question. Is that a business plan or executive summary that's due on November 13th?
It's all together. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's a business plan at 5 to 7 pages. At the beginning of it is an executive summary that you want to include, but it's a condensed business plan.
Someone asked, what time is a business plan due on the 13th? 11:59. If it goes to November 14th at midnight, you're too late.
Yep.
So do not wait till 11:59. I've had people have technical issues, things come up, and I have to be the bad guy and say, sorry, it's closed. So do not wait till the last minute, please.
Yeah, we're talking about serious money for your folks, so we got to stick to the rules. And unfortunately, we had to cut it off at that time. No exceptions.
And Van just sent an email. Is there a template on how to structure the plan? Yes, you should have received the business plan template when I sent out this information about these workshops. So Van, if you didn't get it and you need it again, please shoot me an email. I'll get you another copy, but it should be, check out your emails and find, search my name and you should find it as an attachment.
Ruth, you should have received email about all the deadlines, but we'll send that out again so everybody has it.
Yes, in fact, I have it. It's on. I sent it. It's an overview. You guys probably got it when I sent over the business plan. But why don't I just resend everything all again, which is fine. But it was with the business plan. It's an overview. Has a lot of information in here, and it also has a timeline at the end. So I'll be more than happy to get that all. I just want everyone to have the information in front of them, and yeah. So I'll resend everything out with the playback.
Yep, and you will have a link to submit the business plan. We submit it in Submittable, and then that's an easy way for us to then get it to all the judges, and then they score them within Submittable. So we'll send you that link so you can submit the business plan, and you need to use that business plan template that we give you. If you're departing from that, you're doing yourself a disservice, because then you're going to make it difficult for the judges to evaluate your business plan. So use the template that we send you.
Jennifer, I see you direct message me about this LinkedIn workshop. I'm using LinkedIn for a business tool. That is open to anyone. It's free, open to anyone. You can share it when you get it, whoever you think, if there's any organizations. So yes, you're more than welcome to share. It's, like I said, it's free for anyone.
Question here about when do we get counselors for our business plan? You get mentors for the top 12 finalists. So if you're determined to be one of the top 12 finalists, then you'll get a mentor at that point to help you prepare for the final Shark Tank round in February. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. And if I'm not, I apologize. Is the competition going to be in person? No, it's going to be virtual. So everything's going to be virtual. We still have the mask mandate right now at the college. So I thought it'd be difficult for you guys to try to do your presentation with masks, and it'd be easier, to do it online through Zoom. So we'll be doing it virtually for the competition as well as the awards announcement. And we actually have a plan to get your pitch out in social media. And we actually think this would be better for the business owners because you get more brand exposure. Last year, we had 25,000 people viewing our video for the awards announcement. And we had short clips from each one of the finalists as part of that. So those folks got exposed to 25,000 people. When we do it in person, we get maybe 75. So I actually think this might be better for you to do it virtually. All right.
Can I just say real quick, Dennis?
Yep.
Please definitely look at the, when I sent the overview, there is a calendar of events. This competition, it's intense. And we're going to need whoever's the finalist, they're going to have to put their work in there, because not only we bring in coaches to help you with your pitch, like Dennis mentioned, you have mentors. So definitely there's an obligation to be able to participate in all these things that we have if you're a finalist. So definitely review that overview that I have sent out, and I will reset again. But this is, as Dennis said, it's a lot of money. We take this very seriously, and you'll need to work hard for it.
Yeah, there's actually a rehearsal that you will do before Angela and I. And if we think that you are not ready, you will not be able to advance onto the final Shark Tank round. And we've actually had to not allow some people to advance because they just weren't ready. And we ended up having 11 or 10 then finalists. It makes it better for the other 6 because it increases their odds, but that does happen. Do you get to see everybody's presentation? No. It's you'll be presenting to the judges. It will only be you and the judges. Your mentor may choose to watch that as well, but but it's not open to everybody. There is a workshop that we hold to help you prepare, where you will be working with other folks within the workshop. Samantha's asking, weren't ready in what sense? So the finalists, they didn't know their target market. They didn't know their financials. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing for us to even put them in front of the judges. We're not going to get embarrassed. All right. We put a lot of work into this. If you're not putting in the time, the commitment, you're not ready to go, we're not going to be embarrassed. And so we're going to say, you're not moving on. So as you can tell, feel a little strong about that. So do not embarrass us. We want to see everyone win. So I am not a judge. Angela is not a judge. We want to see everybody do well. So I'm giving you all this advice, but I have no stake in this game. But the only stake I have is do not embarrass us. Pete, you had a question?
It wasn't a question so much, it was just an observation. A couple slides back, you showed a quick sales funnel. And when we were doing the dating coaching thing, what we did was we would do like a $30 or a $40 day-long seminar on a Saturday.
Yep.
Get a lot of interest. And then we'd see if anybody else wanted to take maybe like a weekend class. And out of that group, we'd sell like a 3-month coaching program for $4,000 bucks.
Yeah.
So
the price escalated.
Yeah, that was the marketing thing. Bring in a whole bunch of people, see who's interested in a little more, etc.
Yep, great example. Vicky, are the judges told the same criteria that we're given? Yes. So the criteria that you're given is the scoring sheet that the judges are using.
In fact, you see it in the overview. That's why I'm saying, please look at this overview. There's a screening round judging criteria. So if you follow this, it has questions. Make sure you answer them in your business plan. So yes, this overview is very important to review. And yes, the judges are told the same criteria that you're given.
Yep. All righty, folks. Well, thank you for sticking with us here. Every time I put this together, I'm thinking, boy, do I really have enough stuff here for talk about for 2 hours? And like, should I shorten this up? I could do this in an hour. It never happens. So I appreciate you sticking with us. Angela, thank you for all your help here this evening. Yeah. We will send out the video playback so you have it. Hope you're excited. Next week, all right, I'll probably have to bring Frank back because he does get a little scary when we talk about the finances and the legal aspect. But we're having some fun, starting to dream a little bit. Now we're starting to narrow our focus, talking about how we're going to make this happen. Next week, we'll get into the financials. Again, the weakest point we see year after year. Don't get scared, Lionel. We'll walk you through it. All right. And maybe Frank will be too scary, but we'll walk you through it. But those financials, that's where you want to know your numbers. How much is this costing you? What's the profit margin? When do you expect to be making money? These are the questions that judges are going to be asking. So you need to know your numbers. Everyone needs to be set up with the state as an LLC or a nonprofit. You need to get yourself set up because you have to be in good standing as a business owner with the state. So be sure that you're doing that. If you, again, go to the state. If you incorporate it through Delaware, that's perfectly fine. That's no problem at all. But we need to be able to see that you're an established business. And that's an easy way for us to do that with the by looking on the state or Delaware, where we can see that your business is established. We'll talk about that more next week. All right, Angela, anything else?
No, I hope everyone has a good evening, and we'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same place.
All right,
Thank
folks.
you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Good night.